So I wanted to do a quick show and tell of a couple recent developments with the RPi Broker. This is basically, to sum up what RPi Broker is it's a virtual private servers that run on Raspberry Pis and use SSH to tunnel through network connections. And basically the idea is to mimic the business model of DigitalOcean or Vultr, having these cloud-based Linux servers, and the Raspberry Pi, anybody who owns one and has an internet connection could plug it in and register it on a marketplace, the RPi Broker marketplace, and then people can rent them out and use them as cloud servers. And it's not exactly the same use case as DigitalOcean or Vultr, but there is definitely a business use case. So anyways, let me just show a quick update on the progress I made. So the core of the RPi Broker software is SSH, using SSH to tunnel from a Raspberry Pi device or other IoT device to a central server, and then the marketplace itself is distributed, but basically tunneling to a server. So I've been trying to get that up and running, and what's going to happen on the server is I'm going to run a Docker container, and let me see, I have a demo here. So yeah, I've got my Docker container running, I believe, and I just published the code for this Docker container in the GitHub repository. And it's running port 6000 to port 6200, and this SSH server is running on port 6000. And so from my Raspberry Pi, so I have a Raspberry Pi sitting right next to me, hooked up to my Wi-Fi, and so I'm connected to it right here. And let's see, here is the code I'm running. It's using this npm package, reverse tunnel SSH. And it's going to create a reverse SSH tunnel, and oops, I should have run it in the background. And so it's connecting to the server on port 6100, and I already know that because I set it up this way, that it's going to be in port 6100. So here I am back on my internet connected server, and in fact, I'm on my home PC. So I'm going to connect to this server, which this is the current IP address that I'm using right now. And I'm going to connect on port 6101. And bam, I'm connected to my Raspberry Pi sitting right next to me through this big loopback. And I just have the default username and password right now. So I am going from my home computer out to the internet to the cloud server, and then back, tunneling through all the firewalls and networks in the way to get back to the Raspberry Pi. And so that's pretty cool. And so that's the first step. That's the central core technology. The next step is to create a program that manages all the ports, and that's another thing I managed to do today. And I have a demo right here running in VirtualBox. So this is just a little node app, and using Express, the Express library. And when I hit rent port, it goes out and makes a call to the Express server and says, hey, give me the next available port number. And I can do this and get a bunch of port numbers, and then I can check the port number back in. That's what it's doing when I click on it, saying, here you go, I'm done. Here's the port number. So this is mimicking what will happen in the marketplace. And then you can see 13 pop back up here, and then 12, and then it'll probably go back to the series. So there's that. So it's going back up. But if I check in 18, it pops back on the stack, and that's the next one that comes up. So basically, it's just mimicking this. Hey, I need an SSH port that's going to happen when the server starts assigning new ports to devices to connect over SSH. So normally the default port is 22, but in this case it would have to be on a different port. So yeah, that's just the start. Just to kind of give another overview, this is the RPi Broker, and it's on RPi OVN. This is a sort of for-profit open source group that I started, and I'm looking for JavaScript programmers, so if you have any experience with JavaScript or you want to learn more, consider joining up. Come right here to rpiovn.org.